So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a short span of time. Now, needless to say this, you have to revise this lecture just after watching it. Because if you'll just watch this lecture, then these current affairs would quickly skip your memory. If you want to retain them, at least till your exams, you have to revise it from the notes provided by us on our Telegram channel. The link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section just below this video. Okay, so enough of the introduction. Let's straight away jump into the lecture. But first, let's take a look at the list of topics that we shall cover today. So let's begin. So daily current affairs, 29th of December, Monday, and here is the topics list. Number one on this list is fake rabies vaccine. Well, countries like USA, UK, Australia have reported that in India, counterfeit rabies vaccines have been found. And many people have gotten these vaccines. They need to get a booster dose because these vaccines do not work. Indian rabies vaccines are fake. That was the headline. So we won't focus on this headline, but we'll talk about rabies and the vaccine. Okay. So this is topic number one. Then topic number two, 28 December marks the 140th Foundation Day of Indian National Congress. So we'll basically focus on some of the key points of Indian National Congress's contribution to India's freedom struggle. Okay. So we'll talk about this. Then topic number three is related to utility of industrial hemp. Himachal Pradesh basically came out with a scheme called Green to Gold. As per that scheme, we can really use industrial hemp for environmental sustainability. Plus, there are many applications to that as well. So we'll talk about this. Then topic number four is related to Alaknanda Galaxy, which was recently discovered. And it was discovered by Indian astronomers. So we'll talk about this. And in the end, we'll talk about a geography related news. There is a place in India, in Andhra Pradesh, called Gandikota Canyon. So we'll talk about Gandikota Canyon, its location, its significance, because a question can be asked. Okay, so these are the 5 news items. Topic number 1 is related to science and technology portion of your UPSC syllabus. Topic number 2, modern history portion of your UPSC syllabus. Topic number 3, environment portion of your UPSC syllabus. Topic number 4, science and technology because it is related to space. And topic number 5, clear-cut geography portion of your UPSC syllabus, particularly Indian geography. Okay, so these are the 5 news items. Let's start discussing them one by one, starting with topic number 1, and that is fake rabies vaccine. Okay, so USA, UK, Australia, these 3 countries have issued advisories to their citizens. Okay, and what is this advisory? They have said that all of our citizens who were in India and have taken these vaccines, rabies vaccines, they need to double check because there are reports of many fake rabies vaccines in India. They need to double check and get a booster dose to get the real immunity. Now, this is embarrassing news for India, that in India, fake vaccines are being sold. Now, we won't talk about the embarrassing part. Okay, there is no need to talk about the embarrassing part because no question would be asked from this portion of this news. But yes, UPSC might ask questions related to rabies. What is rabies? What causes rabies? Okay, what is India doing to prevent rabies? What is the treatment or prophylaxis or prevention for rabies? This is the area where UPSC is more interested in. Okay, so we will focus on this and not focus on the embarrassing part. Embarrassing part we know. Yes, there are fake products in India. Okay, so let's talk about the main area where we should focus on, where UPSC focuses on. So let's begin. So fake rabies vaccine. So what was in the news? Australia, UK, USA issued health advisories urging travelers who received Abhairab rabies vaccine in India to verify authenticity and consider booster doses. Okay. Counterfeit batches of Abhairab produced by Indian Immunologicals Limited, this was the company that manufactured that vaccine, were detected with altered packaging, fake basically vaccines. Okay, so this is the embarrassing part. We'll finish it at this point only. And now let's move on to rabies. So what is rabies? So remember, rabies is a viral, which means it is caused by a virus, zoonotic disease. Now, what are zoonotic diseases? Zoonotic diseases are those diseases that, are transmitted to humans through animals. Diseases that come to us, are transmitted to us through animals, are zoonotic diseases. And this process of a microorganism, bacteria, virus, jumping from an animal to human is known as zoonosis. Okay, So this rabies virus that causes this disease comes to us through animals. What animals? Which category of animals? Dogs, cats, monkeys, bats. Basically, the thing is that this virus is transmitted primarily through saliva of infected animals. So if there is a dog that is infected with rabies virus, he bites you, there is a wound on your body, and on that wound there would be dog saliva. The virus would enter your body through that wound and would travel to your brain and would cause this disease. Okay. Now the animals in this case who basically are the culprits for transmitting this virus to your body are known as vectors. So the vectors, if there is a question that which category of animals are the vectors for rabies virus? Dogs, cats, monkeys, bats. Clear? So saliva of infected animals leading to fatal encephalitis. Fatal means you might die from this, and encephalitis basically a brain disease, a form of brain disease, if untreated post-exposure. Now, what are the symptoms? Well, initially there is fever, headache to hydrophobia. People who have rabies, well, they have been reported to be scared of water, hydrophobia, hallucinations, paralysis. It's basically a brain disease. And this is very important. Once symptoms appear, then chances of death are 100%. It has nearly 100% fatality once symptoms appear. Now, as far as the incubation period of this disease is concerned, what is incubation period? When the virus enters your body and when the symptoms start to appear. The period between this is the incubation period. Okay, so when the dog bites you, virus enters your body, and when the first symptoms appear, that is incubation period, that time period. Now that time period is generally 1 week to 1 year. Symptoms can appear from between 1 week to 1 year, but it's generally 2 to 3 months. Okay, and one more thing you need to remember about rabies: human to human transmission is extremely rare. It is purely zoonotic. Okay, now how do you treat this disease? Basically, once symptoms start to appear, there is no treatment. The only treatment for this disease is prevention. Now, prevention is of two types. Okay, pre-exposure, that means you took a vaccine even before the dog bite. Okay, you are moving through an area where there are a lot of dogs, so you are fearful of the fact that a dog might bite you in future. It's just basically a hunch. A dog might bite you in future. Therefore, you have taken a pre-exposure vaccine. Maybe the dog won't bite you at all, but still you have taken a vaccine. This is pre-exposure. Then there is post-exposure. The dog has bitten you. You are in the incubation period. Okay, early days of incubation period. This is post-exposure. Take the vaccine now before it's too late. This is post-exposure. Okay, the most famous post-exposure vaccine is rabies immunoglobulin, RIG, and mostly people take this vaccine only because nobody takes pre-exposure vaccines. Very rarely people take pre-exposure vaccines. It's mostly post-exposure. Okay, so this is the thing. Clear? Now, this is all you need to know as far as rabies is concerned. Now, one more thing you need to know about rabies is, what is the situation of rabies in India and what is Indian government doing about this? Okay, has Indian government launched any programs to control rabies? If yes, then why is still rabies a big threat in India? What are the challenges? Let's talk about all these things. Rabies in India. Okay, so control program. So first of all, focus on this point. India bears 36% of global rabies deaths. So 36% of people dying because of rabies all over the world are dying in India. That's a big disease burden. Okay, with National Rabies Control Program data showing 6,644 suspected deaths between this 10-year period, 12 to 22. Likely, and it is likely underestimated also. Okay, because not all rabies cases are reported. So this is a horrible situation. Okay, this is despite the fact that India has launched various programs to combat rabies. One is National Rabies Control Program under National Health Mission, and the other is National One Health Program, which targets zoonosis, keeps a track of zoonosis. Remember what was zoonosis? Yes. So these are the two programs that are currently going on that keep a track of rabies and tries to reduce the rabies burden of India. Yet despite the fact 36% of the global rabies deaths are in India. So what are the challenges? First of all, RIG shortages, this post-exposure vaccine shortages. Then incomplete post-exposure prophylaxis. Post-exposure, you all know what is the meaning of post-exposure. Okay, once the dog has bitten you. Prophylaxis, what is prophylaxis? Prophylaxis is basically prevention only. So let's suppose a dog has bitten you and the doctor has ordered you to get 6 vaccines every day. Okay, so 1 vaccine every day for 6 days, 6 injections. You only take 3 injections and you think you are cured and you don't take the other 3 injections. That is when you keep this post-exposure prophylaxis treatment incomplete. Okay, this is another problem because there is lack of information, education and awareness among people. And the last point is stray dog problem in India. Okay, that is a huge issue and a controversial issue also, and I won't get into this controversy. Okay, please don't consider me for stray dogs or against stray dogs. I'm on neither side. Okay, I won't get into this controversy, very controversial, but this is a problem as far as rabies control is concerned. Okay, so this is the thing. All right, okay, so now let's move on to next news item, and that is 140th Foundation Day of Indian National Congress. Now it's a very short topic because, well, we all have studied modern history, and in modern history we all talk about Indian National Congress. Our modern history is mostly dominated by Indian National Congress. Yet, because 28 December 1885 was the day when Congress Party was launched, so 28 December 2025 marks the 140th Foundation Day. Okay, so this is the day where we talk about certain important key things about Indian National Congress. What was its role pre-independence? What has been its role post-independence? Okay, so let's quickly talk about this thing. Okay, we won't get into the political side of this debate, which is post-independence. We'll mostly talk about the freedom struggle days. Clear? Pre-1947. So let's straight away jump into this topic. So 140th Foundation Day of INC. So what was in the news? Indian National Congress, founded on December 28, 1885, evolved from a platform for policy grievances to India's independence leader and post-1947 dominant party. Okay, so basically, if we talk about Indian National Congress, well, it has gone through 4 phases. Okay, phase 1 was from 1885, its birth, to 1905. This was the phase when, well, Congress was mostly grievance redressal party. It only talked to the British, basically communicating to them the grievances of Indians. Not many agitations, not many resistance. Okay, it was the moderate phase also. So this is phase 1. Then phase 2, as per this article, okay, is, well, when Congress becomes a little more aggressive and enters the Gandhian phase. Okay, and becomes the undisputed leader for championing the freedom movement of India. This is that phase. Then phase 3 is post-independence phase. But in post-independence also, Congress has 2 phases. Okay, so from 1947 to 1989, this is the dominant phase where Congress is the biggest party. And phase 4, today, psephologists and many political experts call this phase from 1989 to present the decline phase. Why do we call this phase the decline phase? Well, this is called the decline phase because after 1989, Congress party has never achieved majority in parliament. Before 1989, it almost every time got majority. So we are currently in the decline phase. So these are the 4 phases. But let's focus on origin and evolution. So founded by A.O. Hume, a British civil servant, along with Indian leaders such as Dadabhai Naoroji, Surendranath Banerjee, Firoz Shah Mehta, G.K. Gokhale. Initially conceived as a platform to voice Indian grievances and influence British policy through prayers, petitions, letters, all these things, constitutional methods. And because they were not that aggressive with the British, that is why there is a conspiracy theory also. People say that A.O. Hume formed Indian National Congress as a safety valve. That whatever pent-up tension is there in Indians, grievances are there in Indians, they get to release that and they never become anti-British. Safety valve theory. Its trajectory reflects moderates, from moderates petitions to extremist agitations to Gandhian mass mobilization, then post-independence hegemony, dominant party, and recent decline, the 4 phases. Okay. INC's first session at Gokuldas Tejpal Sanskrit College, Bombay, drew 72 delegates under W.C. Banerjee. The first session of Congress was in Bombay, and W.C. Banerjee was its chairman, aimed at national fusion, moral regeneration, and Anglo-Indian union. So early Congress leaders wanted the union between Indians and the British, basically. Okay, they were not thinking about taking complete independence from British. Okay, that happened when Congress first articulated that we want complete independence from British was in 1929 Congress session of Lahore. Okay, now in your notes there is a table like this which talks about some key sessions of Congress, starting from 1885, the founding session, and this Purna Swaraj session of Lahore, along with presidents and significance. So do go through this as well. Okay, and now let's quickly shift our focus to next news item, and that is utility of industrial hemp. Okay, so what is industrial hemp? Basically, you must have heard about this plant called cannabis. Cannabis is generally grown as an intoxicant. Okay, it is classified as drugs. Okay, prohibited drugs in many parts of the world. In some parts, they are legal. But cannabis is a plant which is grown and which is taken in the form of drugs by many people. That is why it is banned in many areas. But one particular portion of that plant, cannabis plant, okay, the entire plant is not suitable for drugs, okay, or is not utilized for making drugs. Cannabis, okay. There is one particular portion of this entire cannabis plant which cannot be used to make drugs. That particular portion has many applications, can be used in various things, has various medicinal properties also. Now, recently, Himachal Pradesh government launched an initiative called Green to Gold initiative, basically incentivizing their farmers to grow industrial hemp, this particular part of cannabis plant, and sell them to different areas because there is high demand for it, and earn money. So basically to empower farmers of Himachal Pradesh. And it is also environmentally sustainable as well. So we will focus on industrial hemp. What are its key features? Why is it environmentally sustainable to grow this plant? And what are its applications? So let's quickly talk about this, okay? So utility of industrial hemp. So Himachal Pradesh launched the Green to Gold initiative under CM Sukhu to legalize regulated industrial hemp cultivation, transforming wild cannabis. So in Kullu region, Kullu, Mandi, Chamba districts of Himachal Pradesh, already cannabis is grown. But some of that cannabis is illegally sold as drugs. Well, the government wants to legalize cannabis, but properly regulating it. So the drug portion of that plant would be discarded and this hemp portion would be sold in the market. So this is the scheme, Green to Gold initiative. From illicit trade to bioeconomy driver for self-reliant state by 27. Okay. Now about hemp, industrial hemp. So industrial hemp is non-intoxicating, not drug. Variety of cannabis sativa, cannabis plant. Cultivated. Now what are the advantages of this hemp? This hemp gives you fiber, seed and biomass. Now, how do you judge whether this particular portion of the plant has higher intoxicating value or not? Well, there is a chemical in cannabis called tetrahydrocannabinol, THC. The more THC is there in that plant, the more would be its intoxicating value. So government would make sure that farmers are only selling that portion of the plant which has THC less than 0.3%, which means that this will never be used to smoke as for drugs basically. You understand my point, right? Making it unsuitable for drug use, okay? Now this plant is native to Central and South Asia with millennia old use in textiles because it has fiber, ropes, paper and medicine also. It has some medicinal properties also, okay? It is legally cultivated across parts of Europe, North America, Asia under regulated THC threshold. So it is legal, but government makes sure that you are only producing that hemp which has lower than 0.3% THC. Okay, this is what Himachal Pradesh is also going to do. So Himachal Pradesh is basically following North America, Europe, Asia, some parts of Asia. Okay. Now, key features of this hemp. Why do we consider it environmentally sustainable? So it is climate resilient, requires 50% less water than cotton and can grow in marginal poor quality soils. Okay, so one advantage for farmers. Then fast growing, Harvest cycle is 70 to 140 days. So within 140 days, there is a full field of this crop ready to get harvested. Then it is soil friendly also. Suppresses weeds and improves soil structure via deep roots, okay, for perforation. High biomass seed, suitable for fiber, oil seed, dual purpose use. Okay. Now, what are the applications? In which areas can this industrial hemp be used? It can be used as a construction material, okay, paper and packaging, pharmaceutical because of some medicinal properties, cosmetics because the hemp oil is used in moisturizers as well, okay, and bioenergy and producing bioplastics, which is a new area. Bioplastics are being promoted because these bioplastics are that category of plastics which look like plastic but are biodegradable as well. So we are promoting this. Okay. And now let's conclude this topic and quickly move on to next topic, and that is Alaknanda Galaxy. Okay. Now listen to me very carefully. Basically, a galaxy was recently discovered by Indian astronomers. But how did Indian astronomers discover this? Well, there is a telescope that was launched by NASA called James Webb Space Telescope, the most powerful space telescope ever built. Now, this James Webb Space Telescope is producing a lot of images, and NASA has made these images public or shared it with other space agencies. Okay. Now, these images were shared with India also. Now, Indian astronomers analyzed those images and they discovered a galaxy which they have named Alaknanda Galaxy. Now, the significance of this discovery is that this Alaknanda Galaxy is basically, that image of Alaknanda Galaxy is from the time when universe was just 1.5 billion years old. Today, universe is 14 billion years old. Okay, that's the age of the universe. From Big Bang to today, it's 14 billion years. But the picture of this galaxy is from the time when from Big Bang only 1.5 billion years had passed. So fairly young universe. Now, Indian astronomers found that this Alaknanda Galaxy is basically a fully formed, fully functional galaxy. This challenges the notion that in its early stage, universe was pretty chaotic. Okay, and there it was dusty, gas, clumps of gas, galaxies were not properly formed. But Alaknanda Galaxy looks properly formed. So this challenges the theories about formation or evolution of the universe since Big Bang. Okay, that's the significance of this discovery. Now, in your notes, what I have done is, because questions would be asked from that topic only, so that is why in our notes we have focused on that. I have given a few details about Alaknanda Galaxy and those details are sufficient. Nothing outside those details would come. But I have mentioned some extra information about James Webb Space Telescope as well. Okay, questions can be asked from that. Okay, so let's take a look quickly. So Alaknanda Galaxy, so what was in the news? Astronomers from India have discovered the second farthest spiral galaxy in the depths of universe using JWST and have named it Alaknanda. Okay, now whatever was discussed in the introduction of this topic, well, that is given in your notes, just go through that. We will focus on James Webb Space Telescope. Okay, so JWST, NASA's flagship infrared observatory, successor to Hubble Space Telescope. It was launched on this date by a rocket called Ariane 5 from French Guiana. Now, where is the space telescope placed? On Lagrangian point 2. Now, what are Lagrangian points? You should know this. If this is Sun, this is Earth, then there are 5 points. Okay, this is L1, this is L2, this is L3, this is L4, this is L5, where forces balance each other out. We won't get into that many details, but this is L2. So James Webb Space Telescope is placed over here, okay, 1.5 million kilometers from Earth, over here at this point, where Earth shields it from the light of the sun. Now, what are the objectives of James Webb Space Telescope? Well, first light after Big Bang, discover what happened just after Big Bang, when the universe was ionizing. Galaxy, how our galaxies are formed, how stars are formed, how black holes are formed. Discover some exoplanets, planets outside our solar system, how life originates, solar system, beginning of solar system, Kuiper belt, a belt of asteroids just after a solar system where there are icy moons. So all of these are objectives of JWST. Okay, and now let's quickly shift our focus to last news item, and that is Gandikota Canyon. Okay, Now, what is a canyon? Basically, when a river passes through hard rocks, it passes through it in a meandering form. Then the river dries up, and that entire landscape is canyon. Now, there is one particular canyon in Andhra Pradesh which can become a very good tourism site. People who love nature would love to visit it. But the state government hasn't capitalized on its potential. Recently, state government came out with a plan to capitalize on it, and that is why this topic is in the news. So let's quickly discuss this, okay? So Gandikota Canyon. So what was in the news? This has drawn renewed attention as a spectacular yet underdeveloped natural heritage site despite recent state plans to boost tourism infrastructure. Gandikota Canyon, dubbed Grand Canyon of India, because there is a Grand Canyon in USA, forms a dramatic gorge where Penner River. So this Grand Canyon, this landscape that was eroded by Penner River, cuts through Eramala Hills, red sandstone cliffs in Kadapa district, Andhra Pradesh. So remember the location. Now about this Grand Canyon. So it is a geological marvel from millions of years of river erosion on quartzite sedimentary rocks. So remember the name of this rock, featuring jagged red layers, 100-meter high cliffs, panoramic viewpoints. So very good viewpoints for photography. It is a historical site also because there are 13th century Kakatiya Gandikota fort, temples, mosques adding heritage value. Again, a very good tourism potential. Many attraction points are canyon rim views, very good views from the top of the canyon. Fort ruins, Ranganatha temple, Jamia Masjid, Koneru tank. The issues are underdeveloped infrastructure. That is why tourism is not flourishing. Low awareness, waste, litter. This basically deters tourists from coming to this area. So that is why government is focusing on making it a tourist hub. Okay. The potential is ecotourism boost for rural economy compares to Arizona Grand Canyon. So Grand Canyon, the very famous Grand Canyon of USA in Arizona. Well, Arizona state uses it as a tourism site. Many tourists from all across the world come here. So Andhra Pradesh can also do the same. Okay. So this is the thing. And that would be all. With that, we conclude today's session. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. But it would add more value if number one, you're consistent and regular with this lecture series. And number two, you revise the lecture from the notes provided by us on our Telegram channel. So with the hope that you're not going to forget to do that, I shall see you next time with another set of news items. Thank you, everyone.